We're back, bitches. You thought we were dead? We were kind of hoping we were too. This is the T and C Hysterical Podcast, the only known podcast in the universe where our apology is going to be worse than Colleen Ballinger's.
Fuck you. It's been a long time, everybody. I hope that we still have some people that are going to watch this. If not, that's cool too.
To be totally fair, and it's picking it up, so it doesn't really matter who holds it. But to be totally fair, we did warn you guys that it was going to be weird. We didn't really have the intention of making it 5 months weird.
No, yeah, we did not expect to be off of this long.
Like at all. At all. Christmas came, Thanksgiving, and I just shit.
Life hits.
Fuck, dude. Yeah, like, we probably at least once a month said, we need to make an episode. And then we didn't do it. I did say this video, this apology would be worse than Colleen Ballinger's. We're basically just admitting we're fucking lazy pieces of shit. It's great.
No, we're just busy people.
Oh, very.
Busy people.
Very. Let's get some music going for those in the back that are like, where's my ambient music? Because you guys suck ass.
They just come here for the tunes.
They just come here for the tunes.
Shut the fuck up. Let me listen to the music.
Yeah, pretty much. That's fine. I wouldn't want to listen to me either. Yeah. So, anyways, we are just waking up. If you want to, grab a cup of coffee while we run over things. It has been a long time coming, ladies and gentlemen, and we surprisingly have a substantial amount of stuff to talk about because unlike when we were making episodes weekly, shit's gone down over the last 5 months. We have brand new graphics cards. We have basically companies shutting down. We have all new monitors fucking up the wazoo for every single thing you could possibly think of. We also have a brand new keyboard from Wooting that pisses me the fuck off because it's a TKL and I fucking want it because it gives me my number pad back, but it's the same as the 60HE. It's just called the 75HE and I goddamn want it.
Yeah, I'm happy without my number pad.
No, I want my arrow keys. I want my arrows. I want my fucking arrows.
See, I've just learned to adapt to the function arrows.
I mean, like, I get it, same, because...
I mean, but it doesn't bother me.
But
I don't need
But if I
arrows.
can have it, I want it.
There was never anything I used my arrow keys for, really. Other than the occasional scroll down.
Scroll down. You don't use the wheel on your...
I do.
I love the fuck, that's funny. That's good shit. Also...
But I've also used the arrow keys to scroll down on a website, because, fuck.
Also, it has been incredibly weird because all the shit talk that we have done over this last time, magically now, Caden is good at Overwatch. He's actually phenomenal now. He has found 2 characters that he can do really fucking well with, and he went from someone who was going 11-7 to 30-3.
I don't know, fucking yesterday. I was not having a good day. It was bad.
Was it bad?
I was just stuck with shitty teams. Like, I was still going, 16-2, but...
Dude.
And the rest of my team's going, 2-7.
I had to tell Matt about when we played that game on Kings Row, and I was the highest scoring person. 6. That was so
rough.
bad. Oh my god. I still hate that game. Still a piece of shit. But fuck, that was brutal.
Fucking brutal.
That was so brutal. I told him about it, and he's like, "Oh, Kings Row?" He's like, "You usually slay." I'm like, "Dude, I was getting owned, alright?" I'm like, it wasn't the fact that the sniper was good. It's that there were 2 snipers. And then Caden's on the ground trying to do work because everybody else is just randomly everywhere else. I'm like, God, dude, that was the worst. It was so bad.
That's one thing I've noticed a lot in Overwatch recently is everyone is just so KD oriented. and not objective, and you lose every fucking time.
We actually, because we were gonna play League, got in. I was like, all right, Matt, you ready? It's been a minute. I'm like, don't do something stupid, okay? Don't do anything dumb. Don't do it. Don't do anything stupid. And he was like, I'm not gonna do anything dumb, I promise. I'm like, go Moira, go safe. Okay. So he goes Roadhog. And I'm like, here we go.
No, it's looking at the wall.
Oh.
It looks like a spider. I can't tell if that's a spider or a screw. Okay.
It's a screw.
I'm just blind.
He's blind and ADHD. He goes, huh? Piece of candy.
Distracted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he got in as Roadhog on a fucking ranked match and did 22-6. And I was like, all right, you're doing it. I mean, it allowed me time because I got in as Tracer. No, it wasn't bad. I went 30-6 with Tracer.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't played Mauga in
a minute.
In ranked yet, but I've brought Moira
Yeah.
into ranked and done pretty good. And Soldier, but
Well, I don't let him do anything stupid because he's trying to work on Hanzo, which is fine because he does all
that's
right.
what's unranked for.
Yeah, he does all right, but he's no. I could take Tracer, Widow, and of course Diva into ranked. That's never a problem because Tracer, I'm quick. I know what I can do. You know, sometimes I might get owned, but it's a good distraction. Widow, obviously, not great, but I do know that at the end of the day, I could do some shit.
Yeah. Let's just fucking see if we could just do this.
Call it macaroni. Be lazy, so that way you don't have to sit there.
All right, that works too.
Yep, that way, because I can see the vocal. We're good. Mic aux is good. It's mid, so.
My cock's good too.
I bet it is. It's tiny.
It's tiny. It's fun size. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's what they'd say to everybody. But anyways, so the rumors are true. The RTX 40 Super cards have been launched.
And the price on that is
Still stupid.
it's a good starting point.
It's a good starting point. It's still dumb for like the 4080 Super, but it is still. I don't want to give him any credit, but goddamn, for what you get, it's impressive.
I like the fact that they are dropping prices. Now, it is kind of fucking stupid that they're gonna drop prices and just kind of re-release their old shit.
Yeah.
Granted, they're saying it has the super chip in it, and I really didn't look at the specs too much because I'm not an NVIDIA person. I'm not gonna buy a new fucking graphics card right now, so
yeah.
That was just poor on my end for not actually looking into it, but
So the performance gains are actually pretty substantial. It is, without a shadow of a doubt, a more competent die that is in there because the overclock boost clocks on those things are like close to half a gigahertz higher. So, you know, for the same amount of money that you would have paid for a regular 4080, that's good. That's a good step in the right direction.
But what I'm hoping this does is this makes Radeon graphics cards go a little lower, you know? I just want them to start.
You want them to drop the top
start.
end. That's the thing. Like, let's be completely honest. You could get a 50 or a 7700X right now for like $400. You want the fucking 7900X TX to drop down.
You're damn right I do.
That's what you really want. Everything except for their top end is actually fine. Even the 7900 XT is fine. It's fucking $799 for a top end graphics card, but $1,000+ for a graphics card. I can't even deny it is fucking still. It blows my mind when you think about it because you could buy literally half of an entire system for $1,000. We talked about this.
Yep.
A motherboard, new RAM, CPU with a cooler for $1,000, and that's top end too almost. But fucking one thing costs that. It's still just ridiculous.
I said, yeah, I just recently built a PC for $300.
Yeah.
That
But they don't know that.
No. So $300 would get you something decent that can run 1080p.
Yeah.
So it's just, we're bougie.
Well, and on top of that, I actually, especially with what you've seen from CES and stuff too, I think that the 1440p high refresh rate revolution is finally coming, because we have 1440p 360 hertz OLED coming, and I'm just like, oh my god, I want it so bad. That's so fucking nice. God damn. You know, we have this 480 hertz 1440p monitor in the works by Samsung, and I'm just like, stop. Fuck, that's just, that's beautiful. You know, so there are so many things. I think it's finally time here in the next year or two where 1080p is going to be just obsolete.
And it needs to be.
Yeah, it needs to be. It's not, you can see the difference. Like, you could viscerally see the difference between 1080p and 1440p. 1440p, without a shadow of a doubt, even today, is still perfectly playable. It still looks crisp and clean. It looks great. But 1080p, you could see the fringing, you could see the aliasing. It doesn't look good. It really doesn't. You know, so it is time. And sure, I see the dexterity, especially when, like, the beginning of last year where you built yours, or even 3 years ago when I built mine, there was no high refresh rate anything, hardly. I mean, you got 1440p 144 hertz, it seems like, and that was it.
Yep.
And if you wanted to go super bougie, there was a couple of manufacturers that were making things that were like 240 hertz, you know, and it was new. It was really, really new. But now we have 540 fucking hertz monitors. We have 360 hertz 1440p OLEDs. It's just, it's crazy. It is crazy to see how much has changed, even in the 5 months that me and you haven't been doing the podcast. It's like fucking nuts, dude. You know,
it's fucking technology for you, man.
And I know it, you know, it's the ever marching advancing of technology and all that shit, but dude, what the fuck? That shit is just a trip to me. It's a trip to see how far we've come, because we both know that if they're pushing the monitors that can do that shit, they've got to push the tech to make it happen too. So that means that there's some shit coming on the horizon that, woof, I don't want to see that price tag.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
We waited and see it on this last one, and it didn't really play in our favor.
No, it did not.
So
I don't know. I don't really have high hopes in that direction.
Now, I know we say it almost every generation that AMD could take it. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel like in the CPU space, they really did kind of take it this year, because while Intel's 4 gigahertz, it was insane and all that shit, I still feel like the 7800X3D did so much, and for like fucking nothing. $300 you can pick one up right now. Like, dude, that is stupid. It's fucking ridiculous, you know. But as far as their graphics cards, obviously we know it was good, but it wasn't the best, and it was still $1,000, and it wasn't even competing with the 4090. It was competing with the fucking 4080, and
right.
And it's just insane how, you know, I mean, like, regardless of how we feel about the connection issues and the fact that people spent multiple thousands of dollars to have their rigs catch on fire because of a faulty connector, what NVIDIA managed to pull with the 4090, we cannot deny, was substantially above anything else. The fucking power gains from that thing were literally 75% over last generation, which is just unheard of, because it's usually like in the 15 to 20% range. You know, you pull a fucking 7900 XTX, even one like mine, where it comes with a factory overclock setting on it, and it just doesn't even get close. And that's just bewildering to me. But, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, I guess that is kind of the price of staying ahead of the game, is doing some shady shit, like creating a fucked up connector just to make it work right. But like I said, I can't deny that. Like, having a 4090, you definitely get something that is well ahead of everything else, and that put Nvidia in a very bad spot because this next generation they have to do better than that, and that was a 2-generational leap what they did. So that's why I'm excited to see what happens, because whatever AMD does has to be better than the 4090, if not comparable to the 5090. And that is such a huge jump, especially from their flagship graphics card this generation to the next, that it's going to be interesting to say the least.
Right.
And they have a lot of ground to gain, but they also have so much to lose.
Right. Yeah, they've gotta do better than at least the 4090 Super on their fucking release.
It's a TI. They are making the TI. They are not doing the 4090 Super. Because the 4090 Ti was already in development, and
That's what it's called.
no, it's gonna
Yes,
be
they've got a 4090 Super
4080 Super, not a 4090.
and a 4070 Super.
Yeah, they have everything except for the 4090. The 4090 is the only one that is getting a Ti variant, I believe. I'm gonna look it up just to double check, but I am pretty sure that the 4090 Ti is the one that is getting released later. Because they're not releasing a
4070 Ti.
Yes.
40.
Yeah, see, look. They're not... 6 days ago, they are not releasing a 4090 Super. It is a 4090 Ti that was already in development. They canned it, but now they're doing the re-soft launch. So they're going to release the 4090 Ti later. Which doesn't make any
fucking sense. The 4070 Super, the RTX 4070 Ti Super,
yes.
and the RTX 4080 Super.
Yes. So no, that's what I mean. There wasn't a 4090 Super in the works, but there was originally a 4090 Ti that they were going to release 6 months after they launched the 4090, but for some reason they canned it because there was some sort of issues. I don't remember exactly what the article was. That was almost a year and a half ago at this point, which is fucking nuts.
Well, it probably, instead of catching on fire, exploded.
I mean, potentially, but regardless of the circumstances, they already had it in development, and from what I've heard, they have fixed it and made it work, which they have to, because it's gonna be a $2,000 graphics card. That just irks me. That bothers me so bad.
My best guess is it's probably parts manufacturing. Because
you're right.
COVID kind of fucked all of the parts manufacturing for
And we have
most of
been
our
saying
chips.
this since COVID, that things are going to be fucked up for many, many years to come. Which is
Right.
how it's going to be. But yes, there is no 4090 Super. Thank God, because why? Like, that makes no sense. It's like, what? We're 2 years in now? The third year's coming up. It should be time for a refresh in 2024. Like, it's time. You know what I'm saying? So
a new generation would have been nice.
Yeah, so if they drop it this year, that's great. If AMD gets ahead of the curve, because I heard they're going to drop their new CPUs this year. They're planning on it. Their 8000 series. And
They are indeed.
I am excited as hell because, like, regardless of what we've talked about, one of the biggest things is that for certain aspects, CPU bottlenecking is still a problem. So I am excited to see what comes next as far as that. Even throwing it in with my 7900 XTX just to see what performance gains inevitably happen from that. Whether it be more stable frame rates or maybe a little bit higher of a rendering processes or whatever the fuck. I'm curious to see what's going to come of that because they've been touting it a lot. And if you've heard about it, yeah, they've been bragging about this generation's the one. I'm not going to be thrilled if they push 6 gigahertz because, oh boy, that's going to be a motherfucker to keep cool, but,
yeah.
Fucking staying at fucking 5.2 max gigahertz speed, like, shit, no, we're at 6.3 now, like, haha, fuck you, I don't want
Yeah, I'm excited to see that CPU cooler
Dude.
actually fucking work.
Oh, did you buy it?
Yeah, it's on its way. I bought it the day we were talking about it.
Yeah, you did. Which one did you get? The UK one?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean. that's what I put in mine. But I love it so much because it's so much fucking better than the other one because it has longer tubes, which are kind of nice, but it just has the individual plugs too, so you can control the pump and the fans separately, which you couldn't do with the other one, which I thought was really fucking annoying. But it has every fucking bell and whistle on it that you can possibly think of. It comes with a tube of thermal paste, not that you need it because you already have fucking thermal paste. But it has thermal paste with it. It has the locking screws, so you know when it's down far enough. It's just,
right.
Dude, it was just tits. And for the price, I mean, EK does really well anyways. Like, if we're going to do a water-cooled build, we're probably going all EK. And it's going to be fucking expensive, but it'll be nice.
Yeah, water-cool's going to be my next build. But, you know.
I do know. I do know what you're saying.
Trying to find a wall mount.
You know what? I've actually been thinking about it too, and I have seen some pretty wild shit come out where, depending on what kind of build you're doing, if you're doing like full fat fucking overkill build, or whether you're doing like a upper mid-range build, you can almost do a micro ATX.
Yeah, so I've been looking at the mini ATXs.
Yeah.
Not quite micro ATX.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I haven't decided.
That's what I mean. It's
because I've also thought about getting the Obsidian.
Yeah, do you know how heavy this fucking thing is? Imagine that, but like times 2. So
Yeah.
how about not?
Because the Obsidian would be cool, because then I could put that dual build in.
You could put the dual build in, even though it would be a fucking nightmare to get the whole thing to work together.
Not really.
No.
It would be a bitch for a minute, but the dual build would be nice. I've also really wanted to fucking build that fucking Big O V3.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
That would be sick. It'd be scary, but it would be sick.
And it would be heavy. The motherfucker would be heavy.
Oh, dude. Can you imagine?
It would sit and never move.
Can you imagine building in the N9 by Fantex? That fucking just... God damn, dude.
Yeah.
That would be the fucking worst. Like, I'd just build it with the tower standing up. I'm not tilting that bitch down. Fuck that. I'm said no thank you. Fuck's sake. God damn. And then they released the N7 and that thing is fucking sexy. God damn, that thing is fucking sexy. And then I still want to do a height Y9 build with the fucking screen on the side.
That screen would be fucking cool.
I was actually thinking about it, and I'm thinking that our next upgraded, like, this rig, our streaming or whatever the fuck, our recording rig should be in a height Y9. We put in some fucking just killer RAM with a fucking 4060 in it or something. Doesn't cost us a whole shit ton of money, but it's got the AV1 encoding, but it's fucking got a 7800X or something like that, and it just... the overkill for shit, but just badass. And then we have all the statistics on the side. I think that'd be fucking the tits. I keep thinking about that too. I'm like, I should do it. I really fucking want to. But.
Right. Well.
We just have a problem. We picked up a very, 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 very expensive hobby.
Right.
Because if we could build computers for fun, we'd be doing it every fucking day. But, goddamn. Goddamn.
Yeah. I got my itch settled a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't even get close. It's like ball itch, dude. You think you got it, and you're like, fuck, I gotta go back for more.
No, like, I scratched the balls, but, like, I still gotta scratch my taint and my asshole.
Oh, yeah, it's not even close. It's not even close. Like, the amount of money that you gotta spend to, like, completely scratch that itch. And then it doesn't last long.
Nope. No, it does not.
God, it was... Fuck, dude. I'm telling you, it's insane. I remember that the new lady, I was telling her about it, because she just was curious, you know. She was, I guess, their ex-head of the computer and all this shit. But I'm like, yeah, this is more money than you think it is. And she's like, how much is it? I'm like, well, if I were to guess. And I told her, I was straight up like, this is probably 17 grand. And she's like, what the fuck? What? And I'm like, 17. And she's like,
Yeah.
how?
Yeah.
She's like, how? I'm like, the keyboard is $500. The audio equipment is $1,000. All the monitors are $1,500. She's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, yes, exactly. She's like, that's insane. And I'm like, I know, I get it. Believe me, I get it. I made a lot of fucking money working at the mines, and it paid off. But yeah, it just... And she's like, so wait, if you wanted to start all over... And I'm like, oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah.
Yep.
It would hurt. I'm like, even doing one of those would financially hurt. Well, actually, that's just fucked up, though, because this one was $7,000, but now even building a top-end one, we, estimated 46? It wasn't even that much, which is fucked up. Yours was 4. Yours was 47 at the time. And that was not counting everything. That was just the parts that I already had that I gave you, too, which is even worse.
Right.
You know, so that's fucking strange.
But yeah, my recent build that I designed was $5,800.
But that's everything.
But that's everything. That's the case, the whole line out of parts, the monitor,
Fans, AIO, everything.
that was everything out the door.
Today, just done. Yeah.
But
I think that's one of the biggest things too, is people forget about the fans way too much. Goddamn, the fans is the most important thing in that fucking case. Don't forget your fans, people. Please. God.
don't buy shitty ones.
Ever. Like, so one of my friends at work built a brand new piece. He put a 4070 in it, and a 4070 Ti, and I'm like, cool, you know, that'll do what you need it to do. I'm like, honestly, if you're starting gaming, that's going to be way more power than you need. Like, he has a 7800X 3D. I told him, hey, buy an AIO for it. Just do yourself a favor. He's like, oh, I was just going to buy one of those cheap coolers. No. Don't do that.
No, because you're going to fry that thing.
Yeah, he has 16 gigs of RAM, which it's fine. He's not doing anything other than really gaming on it, so it's fine. You know, whatever. He's got high-speed RAM, and it'll do him really, really well. But the one thing that he didn't get was fans. And he goes, yeah, I have like a couple fans in the case. I'm like, no, fill that fucking thing up with fans. Put fans in your case, dude. I'm telling you. Don't skip out on it. And he goes, what kind of fans do you use? And I'm like, I will give you a cheap recommendation, and I will give you what is in my case. And so I did both, and he goes, holy shit, what the fuck? Why is the price difference so much? And I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you. Fans are fucking weird, because the higher up you go, you get the noise floor significantly lower, because the bearings and the parts are way better. They can go up higher to keep things cooler, or to cool shit down faster, which is very, very fucking important when you get your fucking temperature spiked. You know, and he goes, oh, okay. And so what he wound up going with was like 7 of the gray fans from Noctua, which they're still good fans.
Yeah.
Can't knock them. You know, they're definitely not the fucking whatever those bitches are that are just insane. Did fucking 3,000 RPM and they're quiet up to 2,000.
See, and that's what I would. That's one thing I would recommend, is to fill your case with fans. That way you can run them all at a lower RPM to keep it as cool as you would as running a couple at a high RPM, because then it just keeps the whole system quiet.
And unlike us, where we're dumb and buy big cases, you can actually buy a medium-sized case, because like we can't really like stress this, but one of the faults of having a bigger case like we do is, sure, you might think you get a 140 millimeter fan and you're like, man, that's awesome, that's so good, you know. But the thing is that we've said this in an episode before. Static pressure is a real thing. And if your static pressure is in the positive, you're actually going to cause more heat to be trapped in your case. Which, guess what? If you buy bigger fans, they're going to regulate that pressure. But if you get all the same fans of the same size, basically Caden was right on the nose. To top it off, you can just set it and forget it. But then you know your static pressure is the same, because all fans are working together.
Yep.
So it does make a significant amount of difference too, which is part of the reason why we're throwing around the hype Y90, but on top of that, like the fucking N9 and the you know, like. But the thing is that the N9 is going to take so much more time to regulate, because fuck you're gonna be putting some fucking big ass fans in that bitch.
Right, yeah, no, that's why I was thinking the Corsair Obsidian and water cool. My next build is gonna be water cooled.
Yeah. Well, I mean, still at the same time though, that is even worse because then your fan speed has to be on point to cool the fucking liquid.
Yep.
And then you're gonna have some big ass fucking radiators too.
Yep.
You're gonna be not having a great time.
Maybe not getting it initially set up, but once it's set up,
Oh, it'll be nice.
it'll be a lot nicer.
It'll be so fucking nice. See, the thing is, though, is I am curious to see what you throw in it as far as a graphics card because, man, that would be some shit. That would honestly be some shit to see because, I mean, you know they have the fucking Red Devil Liquid Cooled Edition, and they're gonna come out with it on the fucking, you know.
I don't know, I'm waiting for AMD to drop the new generation.
See what they do.
I want to see.
You're probably gonna go Red Devil, regardless. I know this. You're gonna go Red Devil. You're not gonna go any other way. They're always their highest fucking branch of GPUs. Period. They're insanely powerful.
Yeah, I know.
You just don't like looking at that price tag. I know.
You're right, I don't.
But at least the power does speak for itself. Like I said, I can't really argue with it. We're sitting here talking shit about how powerful the 4090 was. 7900X TX. It's a beast of a card. And after the fucking podcast is over, I'm going to let you try it. And you're going to be like, oh boy, wow, what the fuck? Because you haven't tried that or the monitor. And that one in the center is the fucking LG OLED. Like I said, it's not as small as you thought it was. That's the thing that tripped me out about it, too.
It's exactly as small as I thought it was.
It's not that bad. I mean, sure, going from that motherfucker to that, yeah, it's a trip, but it's really not that bad.
Yeah, that fucking Samsung has ruined me.
I mean, I believe it. I believe it. And I sold it to you for a damn good deal, too, which is the worst part.
Ugh, I gotta go buy a new cable for it, though. It's flickering.
That's fun.
So I gotta decide whether it's the graphics card, the monitor, or the display cable.
So obviously, display cable first.
Because it's the cheapest.
Then graphics card, because that's the second cheapest, which is fucked up to say. Yeah, you might have a Red Devil in your system before you...
I might have to upgrade sooner than I thought.
You just fucking... Where did you buy the Red Devil at? What? What do you mean, where did I... He's like, we're going to have the exact same system, buddy.
Pretty much. That's pretty much always been the difference between our system is graphics card. And of course, I mean RAM size, but that's really not.
No, RAM speed, because you have 32. Or you have 64, right?
I have 64. You've got the 128, don't you?
I only got 64 in right now. Because one of the DIMMs were going bad.
Ah.
That's why there's only 2 sticks in there right now. So, no.
Okay, yeah, then do it. It's just the RAM speed, because mine's a little bit slower, and the GPU.
Yeah, that's pretty much... Well...
The motherboard's different, but they're the same.
That's... Well, no, there are one other difference, actually, now that I think about it. I do have a 1600 watt power supply. I do have that. I forget about that fairly frequently, but...
But you're not using 1600 watts.
Not anymore. It's in the box. I can't use 1600 watts. This thing is not that. This doesn't go, okay, burn me to the ground, daddy. God, fucking damn.
Yeah. So, I want to bring up a gripe I have.
Okay. Here we go.
With a company.
With a company.
Fucking Klipsch. I am fucking mad as hell.
Oh my god.
So, those tower speakers. Now, for you guys listening, it's the R28 PFs, powered tower speakers.
Go ahead. I'm gonna go get more coffee.
The amp went out, and the company doesn't fucking make the amp anymore, and are of no use or help whatsoever when it comes to trying to buy a new one. Not even trying to use the warranty. just trying to buy a new one, and they don't make it, they're out of stock. You can't find it anywhere else. So those speakers are pretty much fucking trash at this point.
Okay, I'm back. So, if I am going to be completely honest, in defense of Klipsch, unfortunately, I bought those tower speakers when we were still working at Mauser. I was newly friends with Matt Sanchez. Those tower speakers were old. That's, I will, like I said, in defense of Klipsch. And to top it off, the other thing is, for one, you did get them for free. For two, it is not a whole home theater system. Now,
I did not say that. I said power tower speakers.
Yes, but I'm just saying, if you paid $1,800 for those two speakers for a whole ass home theater system, and they didn't work, yeah, that.
No, that's not even what I'm mad about. I'm mad for the fact that
They don't make the amp anymore. I know.
the amp is not made. You cannot find it anywhere.
Yes. Because.
And their support team is of no use because they
Yeah, they don't know.
because
how
those
to help.
speakers are 4 years old.
Yes. Well, see, and the other thing is that if I were to take a guess, I'm sure you could go onto Amazon and find those speakers for $400.
No. $600.
Is it?
Yep. Trust me, I have been fucking looking.
It is sad when you get that though. It is really sad. Like honestly,
I'm just saying, like,
no. I mean, it's sad when you get that taste. Like when you get the taste of like high fidelity audio, it is hard to go back. It is so hard to go back. You listen to a TV and you're like, I fucking hate this. I fucking hate I regret everything I ever did.
But yeah, I'm just, the support of their products is not very good.
I think
So
it's just
my quarrel with it isn't with the company's audio, because they make good speakers.
yeah,
but-
absolutely. It's just it's the support team. I get
And
that.
the fact of just how often they discontinue products.
Well, and you know the thing is that I also can understand that that's kind of one of the biggest things for me was because I wanted to use it with a regular 3.5 straight out of the TV. And I bought the speakers because I wanted something that wasn't home theater-ish at the time because we were working at Mauser. I wasn't making money.
Right.
Like, I was not making money.
Neither
I
of us were.
literally make 5 times the amount of money per paycheck now that I did that. But that's the thing. So, I didn't have a lot of money. So I decided I wanted to buy these fucking things, and I bought them. Obviously, I was new. I didn't understand audio the way I do today. My home theater system right now is in the estimation of like $3,500 and it blows people the fuck away. But it's a big difference because the brand I went from, Klipsch is great, but Q Acoustics is just fucking phenomenal. You want to buy that system from me when I upgrade. That says something.
It is a nice system, but also the fact that
But as far as Klipsch, like, I know what you're saying. Their audio quality is just like, sure, it is cinematic. They bump up the bass and the treble. They've got that fucking V curve, that excitement curve for audio and shit. And I completely agree with you. Like, so their speakers are designed to just sound good right away, but it's never tinny, it's never pitchy, it's never loud. And it's great. And like honestly, even for $600, if it was something you were just gonna buy straight out the door, it's fucking great. It gives you more than you need for $600, especially considering that home theaters go up into the tens of thousands of dollars.
yes, they do.
So it's
Because I was looking at their full setup, their full home theater, $2,000.
no.
But
No, because you are looking at the wrong shit. Do not ever buy anything less than their reference. I'm just telling you, honest to God, from my personal opinion of being in this for a couple of years now and looking at everything, their stuff is good, but their reference line is where people who are actually like even audiophiles are being like satisfied and impressed. And the RP 8002s, which are tower speakers that are fucking, they're enormous. They're way bigger than the ones you have. Those are $1,800 for just two. That's just two tower speakers. That's it. And yeah, no, Klipsch climbs.
Oh, it does.
They climb up there, but that's what I'm saying.
That was found on a deal, though. It wasn't. I'm trying to remember which one it was. I don't know. I'm not planning on buying new speakers anytime soon.
Like I said, I know what you're doing. I'm gonna upgrade first, and then you're gonna be like, "Hey, can I buy it from you?" And I'll be like, "Sure, $1,500."
I don't know.
But no, I know what you're saying.
Because I've been looking.
You have been thinking about it.
I have been looking.
But you've been thinking about piecing it out, doing the front two, and then just buying speakers as you go.
No, I was gonna go with the full thing.
I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea though if you were to just buy an AV receiver and have the two front channels and just buy them as you go, because Atmos speakers are dirt cheap. They're fucking dirt cheap. You know, the ones that I have on my whatever the fuck, the overhanging Atmos speakers, those were like $110 for the two of them. In ceiling Atmos speakers are like $110 to $200 for a pair. You know, and then rear speakers, like bookshelf speakers, which are really what you want for the rear, because then you can mount them on the wall so your kids don't fucking knock them off. Those go anywhere from like $400 to $600, so it's much better than buying tower speakers for the rear. But that's what's going to set you back, is that front channel. And from what I've heard from a lot of people, especially considering how things are being mixed and mastered today, you don't really even need a center channel, because it seems like if you get, like I said, the 8,000 RPF2s or whatever the fuck they are, like if you get two pairs of those, a center channel actually makes it worse, because their center imaging is so good, it just seems like there's one there. And so that's one of the reasons why it seems like it makes more sense to buy better quality speakers as far as certain aspects versus just, you know, whatever works. Because the Atmos speakers, I've done a lot of research in Atmos speakers. Atmos speakers are Atmos speakers at the end of the day. They're not designed to be fucking like the main thing that you do. They turn on every now and again, which is fine, and we like Atmos. Atmos is great. You listen to something that has the rain above. Like I said, when you heard Andor, you were like, that's fucking cool.
It is fucking sick.
You know, but that's the thing though, is but they all do the generalized thing that they do. Like I said, those two that are hanging on the wall, that were like $100 and something. They weren't even that much, and they do a great job. So that's why I say, like, spend the bulk of your money, but also plan out what you want, because your AV receiver is going to be the most expensive thing by a country mile, and you got to decide how many channels you want and what they are going to do. Because if you have two in the front, two in the back, and then two up top, like I do, that's a 7.2 Atmos, or that's a 7.2 AV receiver. If you want any more than that, if you want the 4 running along your ceiling, or you want the 2 on the sides, that's an 11.2. And that is substantially more expensive. So
I've seen them.
That is why it really depends on what you want to do, because you can set it up in multiple different ways, but a 7.2 I just feel isn't enough. It leaves me wanting for more, because I want 2 Atmos speakers behind us to fill the whole room, but I don't have enough channels. So I need to bump it up to a 9.2 at least. And then you need to make sure that it has enough wattage to push all of them without getting too quiet, which is a problem that I encounter with mine, because mine does 50 watts per channel, 2 channels driven, which means I'm down to like maybe 30 watts. So there's a lot of different circumstances that you want to look into. Unironically, Sony has one of the more affordable, but also really, really highly recommended AVRs right now. I don't remember what the line is called. I never can remember. I look it up all the time, but I can't remember. But I think it is $2,000 for their 9.1, which is phenomenal, and it's almost 110 watts per channel. It's insane. which is really, really good because if I wanted to upgrade the Marantz that's out there, it's going to cost me like $5,000.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna just keep doing my own research and see what I find.
Yeah. Well, like I said, honestly, speaker brands are where you're going to encounter shit. It doesn't matter what you do if you find something that's good for sale. I mean, you can fucking pick up one of the NR 1700s that I've got from Marantz. It's like they're $600 right now, I think. You know, and it does a great job. I can't deny that. I have it in my living room. It does a great job. Has, you know, 4K 120 if you ever upgraded to something like a Series X or a PS5 down the road, which I know you've been waiting to do that eventually, but
I don't think so.
Not anymore.
No, because I even got out my Xbox and my PS4
Just
just a couple of days ago just to get back on it, and my PS4 fucking turned that thing on, shut it off immediately, had to fucking tear it apart, clean it,
dust.
put new thermal paste on it.
Yeah.
Thing was just getting hot and it was fucking loud.
Yeah, dude.
It's like, god damn. Granted, that thing's like fucking
A million fucking years old at this point.
right.
I know. No, and that's what I mean. I agree.
But I'm not a console person. Not a huge fan of it.
Yeah, and you used to be the type of person that said my Xbox does everything that I need, and I'm just
it was
like,
always the PS4.
yep. But you always swore. I'm like, dude, you should build a PC, and you're like, nope, my consoles do just what I need. And look at you now. Now you're like, I was a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Well, now I can't fucking stand it.
Yeah, it is hard. It's hard to go back. I have games on PS5 right now that I need to play. I really need to get done. Like, there's a Dragon game that came out, which is the Yakuza games. They just renamed them. You know, and now, here in the 28th, the new mainline Yakuza game is coming out, and I am so torn what I want to do, because it's like, do I want to play it on my PlayStation and have the full surround sound and sit and watch it on my fucking 85-inch TV, or do I want high fidelity graphics? Like, I'm torn, dude. I'm torn. It's hard, you know. And I know some of you could be like, well, why don't you just go plug it into your TV in your living room and just play it through your PC? No, that's garbage. Don't fucking do that. That's terrible. Don't ever fucking do that. That defeats the purpose. Don't do that shit.
Right. Because then you're still stuck at fucking 65 hertz.
No, it's 4K.
Well, for you.
It's 4K 120. That TV is...
That TV. What I'm saying is most TVs.
Oh, yeah, most.
Are 4K, 65 hertz.
Correct. That is true. I thought you were meaning me. I'm like,
not you. Not you specifically. Just in general. Because they do make 120 hertz TVs, but...
Well, they also make worse than that, because... I know we don't like to talk about
yeah,
TVs.
but anyways...
TVs are painful.
But yeah, plugging a high-end PC into a TV is the fucking worst thing you could ever fucking do.
And it's not for a lack of trying. Like, I understand that, honestly, buying a TV seems like the easier choice, because they're less expensive than good monitors, which is very true. I cannot fault you for that. If you were on a budget, like, I know we're always, like, trying to be budget conscious and stuff like that, but listen. Go buy a $200 165 hertz 1080p monitor versus buying a fucking 4K TV. You will not regret it. It is literally something that...
But also, at the same note, what would be worse than that is like plugging a high-end PC into a stock Dell monitor. 1080p at 65 hertz.
And they probably paid just as much as they would for like an Asus TUF 165. Which bothers me. Okay, and like I said, here's the thing. The worst part about all this is we're talking shit, but we're not meaning to throw brands out there, because honestly, the thing is he's talking shit on Dell and Alienware, because Dell's customer service is terrible, bad. It's bad customer service. But to this day, Alienware still has the king of all monitors with their QD OLED. And
oh, see, I'm not talking shit about Dell. I'm just talking shit about like that.
Yeah.
It's that iconic,
just old fucking
1080p,
Walmart. Yep.
That's for what? For office use, yeah.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Gaming, no.
Yeah, not at all. You're gonna get like fucking 45 hertz.
Say that was an argument that I had with my brother, because I gave him that 32-inch Samsung that I had.
Right.
Granted, it's only 1080p at 120 hertz, I think.
Right.
But he's like, oh, well, I mean, I'll just go find one at, like, the thrift store or, you know, that. And I was like, no, you can just have this one because, like, whatever
Yes.
you're going to pick is going to be, like, 65 hertz, and I can't know. That's going to be painful for me to know.
Yeah, like, you're,
No.
you know, and it's like, I still, to this day, cannot believe, because, like, you know what, as much as we may talk shit, as much as we may fault Matt because he's got the biggest fucking ego in the entire fucking world, him playing that well on Overwatch at 60 hertz, still to this day, I can't fucking believe
But
that.
I mean, that's what he got good on.
Dude.
So if that's what he played and got good on, then that's where he fucking...
I know, but dude, how the fuck? Like, I don't know what it is on the graphics card, but it, like, takes a minute to warm up. Don't ask me. Just do not ask me. Because, like I said, I'll load Overwatch, I'll get into game, and then while we're in the area picking our characters, it'll be like 60 hertz. But I could see how fucking choppy it is, even on an OLED monitor that is instant pixel response time, and then it's just 240. It's just cranked. It's just, that's all it is. It doesn't fluctuate. It's just, and the fucking drivers keep deleting themselves off of it too. Like, the fucking drivers just go. They're just gone. I don't know what the fuck. I have reached out to Radeon and customer support, and they're like, that is fucking weird. And I'm like, look, it happens all the time. Like, I literally turned on my PC. None of my monitors turned on. This was before you came over just this morning. And then it went back into safe mode. So then I opened the fucking AMD Adrenaline software. It downloaded the things. We started the PC, and now it's fine. Dude.
Huh.
I do not know how to explain it. It is strange as fuck. But yes, seriously, like, I'm starting to think it's the motherboard. I'm not ready to buy one because, goddamn, AM3 motherboards are expensive right now. They're expensive.
AM5?
No, AM4.
You said AM3.
I meant AM4.
I was like, we're not buying AM3.
No, I meant our generation of motherboards are actually expensive because I wanted to do, because obviously I can either do one of two things. I can get yours, which is fine, great, but yours is $600 right now.
Yeah, mine hasn't dropped down in price.
I can get the Taichi, which would be great, and it's reasonable, and it's still an it's an X570, so it has all the bells and whistles.
Right.
They're out of stock everywhere because they're only $300. So the two options I have are buy the same motherboard, which I don't want because I've had issues with it. Buy your motherboard, which is
would be pointless
it's
if you
literally 3/4 of the fucking budget of just putting a whole AM5 system into my PC.
That's what I'm saying. You might as well fucking upgrade.
So I'm just at a loss if it is actually the motherboard. And I want to put it in the second PCIe slot just to see what happens. But if it works, I'm pissed. So I'm terrified.
See, that's what I had to do with my GPU. Was I had to drop it down
Yep.
so that it wasn't so close to the CPU. That's where a lot of my temperature issues came from.
Yep. Well, now you're not going to have that. And that's the benefit of it. You're not going to have those issues anymore, which will be super nice. Because that MSI fucking AIO was just trash. And I don't know why it was so fucking bad.
I mean, it did alright.
For a little bit.
Well, it still does alright. Like I said, I dropped that down and it keeps it at a relatively low temp.
But dude, you spike. You spike up to like 70 frequently now.
Yeah, I do. That's why we're upgrading.
So that's what I mean. It's just one of those situations where, yeah, in relativity, I don't know what I'm going to do if that's the case. If it is literally my motherboard has just been through too much shit, graphics cards going in and out and testing, because I mean, let's face it, this has been the benchmark PC. When we ran benchmarks on your GPU when you first got it, it went in there first. We wanted to see what it could do. We wanted to see where it laid. We wanted to see the type of system, because And for those of you asking why the fuck we would do that instead of just building them into his build, like we've said before, we basically have the same systems. So plugging his GPU into mine would give us a relative benchmark of what we were to expect. So that's the reason why we did it, because it makes sense to see. That way, if we build his and it doesn't have that type of performance, we know to look into things, which we did, because he didn't have the same performance gains because DOCP wasn't enabled, AMD Adrenalin wasn't updated, and all this stuff. So like I said, it's good to have a second system, especially with similar specs, so that way you can kind of see where you need to be in relativity to everything else. Because yeah, sometimes you can build a brand new system, and we've said this a million times, and you can fuck something up. It's just the way it works.
Or it could all just be fucked up because your drivers aren't up to date.
Yeah.
Or something's not updated. Your BIOS, especially when you get a new motherboard, make sure your BIOS is up to date.
God. Yeah, because, like, especially with what we found out about Asus ROG and EVGA, they will actually hide system just amenities. Like, you know, we didn't get Dolby or spatial audio until we upgraded our BIOS, which is like, why, what the fuck? Why would you hide those behind system updates? Those are kind of cool features to have, but they do. They hide them behind BIOS updates on your motherboard. So if you don't update those, you don't get those features, which is absolutely ridiculous. It just blows my mind to think about stuff like that. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, EVGA, sure, they haven't done anything really wrong. ROG, on the other hand, I mean, look, they're still a great manufacturer, I get that, but they just fucked up so bad with the motherboards over the last generation. And what they did with not setting the limitations on their CPUs and everything like that. Like
Right, that fucking voltage regulator.
That's such a hard sell for me to want to trust them. You know, unless they specifically out themselves and say, we fucked up, and then put that toggle in the BIOS, then maybe I'll consider going back to ROG. But without that, I'm still very on the fence. But that's the thing about it, is that it sucks because EVGA isn't making the motherboards right now.
Yeah.
So I just
that's what really disappoints me.
God,
it's because I love my motherboard.
Dude, EVGA is just such a good brand in general. Like they're great. I mean, I have an EVGA power supply in my system. I have the fucking EVGA RTX Kingpin, which is probably just going to be a linchpin from now on, because that's one of the last graphics cards they ever fucking made. You know, and it's in functioning condition. Like at the end of the day, if I turn the overclock off, it's in functioning condition. It will work just fine for somebody for forever. Yeah. And so, you know, it is really fucked up to see EVGA go the way of just slowing down production on specific things when they were so fucking good at it. You know, I mean, sure, their mice and their keyboard and shit were kind of weird, and their AIOs maybe not were the absolute best in the entire fucking world, but you can't be, you know, a master of all, second to none. It's jack of all trades, which is fine, but the thing is what they did do right, they were just so far ahead of the curve of every other manufacturer, period, hands down.
Yeah. It fucking sucks, because it looks like the next build I'm putting MSI in it.
Woo! That was very, very well played. Y'all are going to get a pop in your ear. I hope you're not wearing headphones.
Yeah, that's going to be a little loud.
Sorry about that. Hopefully I can cut that in the video. I might cut it. We'll see.
No,
Anyway.
just leave it. It'll be a nice surprise.
For those of you that are sleeping while you're watching the fucking podcast, good morning.
Good morning, America.
No, not America. Probably China. All our watchers are in China or India. Well, good morning, China.
But yeah, it looks like I'm going with the MSI board.
I am torn between MSI and ASRock's Tai Chi board. I mean, the Tai Chi board is great. I get why you're going MSI because it is cheaper than the Tai Chi board. Especially the higher end one, fucking $599, goddamn. But you know, that's kind of the thing though, is do I want the mag that me and you talked about that's $470 but has everything in it, or do I want to have something that is just a little bit more? I mean, yeah, I know. At the end of the day, it's you know, pick your poison. But realistically, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, because...
Like I said, at the end of the day...
That's the one I'm looking at.
Yes, and I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Fucking hell. $700 for a fucking motherboard.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, like I said, kind of glad we're not going ROG because Jesus Christ, I wanted that $2,000 motherboard so bad. Fucking water block for the CPU and the VRM already built inside. It's like, man, that's tits, but $2,000. Not. I'm not putting no Threadripper in that bitch. I'm good. Fuck, dude.
I would love to go Threadripper.
Dude, I mean, same.
But, you know.
$8,000.
Yeah.
For the CPU.
I say fucking, $3,000 for the low end one. Oh.
No, but the worst part is can you imagine buying the RAM? Dude.
No. Yes, but I don't want to.
No.
No.
Fucking, oh my god.
Holy shit.
Yeah, because guess what? They have different DIMMs for DDR5 now. They actually have 48 gig RAM sticks. Single RAM sticks. So someone did the fucking all-out build, and the fucking RAM is like $3,500. And I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah. My next build's not going to be high-end. I'm going to go mid-high.
He's going to go mid-high.
I'm going to go mid-high
He's going to go thigh-high.
Yeah, thigh-high. I'm going to go knee-high. Knee-high socks.
Yeah, knee-high socks. He's gonna
Not quite, the full...
He's going to be an
thing.
e-girl. It works.
Yeah.
No.
With a mini skirt.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. Let them balls
Because, honestly, what I do with my PC's fucking overkill.
No,
it is overkill for what I use it for, and I don't need to go.
It is fucked
top
up.
end.
It is fucked up to think about it. It really fucking is. Like, sure, and like I said, we've talked about this previously in between us, but my PCs handle the podcast and everything. It handles the recording, it handles the rendering, it handles the uploading. Playing games and all that shit is great. I have enough power right now to run pretty much anything I need, minus ray tracing, obviously. I can admit that fault in AMD, which is fine. Ray tracing is great. We've said this. They'll catch up eventually. They're holding their own. So it's a nice to have, not a need to have. I will completely agree with Caden on that. It's just what it is. But in relative terms, I have much more demand on my PC than you do. But what's fucked up is that the demand is still gaming. Even for you, there's some games that just you get bottlenecked on, and it's like that's just so fucking weird because we shouldn't be. I realize that also you're running a monitor which is fucking 75% of 4K, so it is a demanding ass bitch to just push all the fucking time.
And on top of that, motherfucker's big.
Yeah, so
it takes up a lot of. That's the stressor on the PC. But at the same time, I really don't play games that really bottleneck me.
I mean, at times, like, we'll try new games. Like, when we were playing fucking Warhammer 40k, that game was fucking putting mine through the sweatshop, and you're like, oh no, oh god. That game was rough.
Right.
That game was really fucking rough. And then Remnant 2 doesn't exactly run at 140 frames a second either. Remnant 2 kind of, that game does not play nice either. So there are specific things. I mean, sure, golf with your friends, we're going to top that out no matter what. Even if we're on Fortnite. Golf with your friends is one. Overwatch, I mean, sure, there's always headroom, whatever, give or take, so with that one, it's kind of take your pick, but there are, like I said, sure, there are specific games, but I'm just saying there are certain games that we can boot up and will be holy fucking shit nightmare fuel just for anything that you have. I mean, even if you have the top end system, even a 4090 and the highest end CPU that you can possibly get, which unfortunately is Intel right now. I can admit the faults and the weaknesses of AMD. We've said this a million times. Intel needs to get their thermals under control. They need to fix some fucking issues that they have with their systems and shit like that. But past that, without a shadow of a doubt, right now, they do have the most powerful CPU. It's just the way it is. If you want to buy one of those 540 hertz monitors and you want to be able to run it, you're gonna need to buy the 1300 KS. It's just how it is. I can't argue with it. I love AMD, but it's just the truth. But in relative speak, yes, there are certain things that even with a high-end system you're limited to, because I'm sure that motherfucking monitor is still at least 2 generations out before it's being pushed to its full potential. Like, without a shadow of a doubt. And all it is 4K 240 hertz, let alone those dumbasses that bought that fucking 8K monitor. I feel so bad for them because I am willing to bet very, very good money that those dumbasses have some fucking i5 in it with a fucking 3070. And they bought that monitor and they're just like, hell yeah. And that thing is running at nothing. Nothing frames a second.
Yep.
You know, and for what? For fucking what? That's the only thing that
popularity.
Gets me. I mean,
the same reason people buy iPhones.
No, it's because iPhones are good phones and they don't fucking break and be pieces of shit like Android. That's my stance because I hate the software of Android. I don't hate the specs of Android. I want to be perfectly clear about that. I am very, very constrained on my phones, but it's because I go by specs. I am not the popularity type, or I don't go by a brand or whatever. I actually think there are some fucking phones out there that are sick as fuck that are Android only. But the thing is it's the Android operating system that always drives me fucking crazy because over the last, I don't know how many fucking years I've had iPhone, the bugs that I have had accumulated over those years have equaled one Android phone that I've maybe had in 6 months. And that's the entire reason why I am that way, is because if I pay for a phone, I want it to work. You are one of those people who are young enough to want the functionality of everything and shit like that. I just want a phone.
See, I just don't have problems with mine. I've never had any bugs, no issues.
I just want a fucking phone.
That's fine, yeah. I want to bring up this story real fast. I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers, and she was like, "Yeah, my because I guess her husband had just recently upgraded his iPhone,
right?
And so he had his iPhone 11." And she was talking about how her son was really wanting it. And I was like, you know what? Do you know why that is? Do you know why he wants that? Because you're a bad fucking parent. Mm-hmm. Clearly, you didn't fucking raise him well enough if he wants a fucking iPhone.
That's pretty funny.
And then I left the room.
That's pretty funny. No, like I said, that's me.
Yeah, I don't know. For a lot of people, it is the brand. Now, I do give you that because when I had my iPhone, I mean, it's literally just on top. It functions as a phone. There's usually no issues. I don't mind it. But I like having my...
You like having customization. You like having
my functionality.
Yes, and I get that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I will never take that away from anybody who's ever like, well, I like Android because I can move my icons wherever I want, or I can set my pictures to whatever the fuck I want, because I'm like, you're right. And that's the end of that conversation, because both phones obviously have their demographic for that exact specific reason. Now, sure, on paper, iPhones chips usually beat out Android, but that's why I say on paper, because sure, Cinebench scores don't mean shit when fucking you're running half of the RAM that an Android phone does. Like I said, I cannot argue with that. I cannot give any like litigation towards the iPhone to be like, oh yeah, they're just better because blah, 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 blah.
I just like talking shit.
I know you do. But, I mean, if we're being completely honest, too, what the iPhone does with 6 gigs of RAM is fucking impressive. That is something that even you can't deny. 6 gigs of RAM is not enough in today's age, and for the fucking iPhone, for some reason, it is. So,
because it's literally, I mean, it does...
It's Utava Witchcraft.
It does what it was.
Yeah, Utava Witchcraft. But that's what I mean. Like, there are specific things. And yes, that over the years, just need a phone that works. That's why I do it. And I have a pretty good system too, where I can upgrade through Apple every year. So I pay $200 to get the new phone, highest end. Like,
see, as long as I don't break my phone,
yeah,
I can do that too.
So that's what I mean.
Just upgrade.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I have a good system in that regard. But that doesn't limit me to, if Android has a good phone that comes out that I feel less stagnates what an Android phone is, because I've had Android phones ever since the Droid. I mean, I've had Android phones probably longer than you've had Android phones, which is saying something because I'm fucking so much older than you. But realistically, that's the point, is I've spent a decade with Android and I've spent almost a decade with iPhone now.
So you just haven't had Android in so long.
I have, actually, because guess what? I had the Pixel 3a that I sold to Danny, remember?
That was your fucking mistake, was getting a Pixel.
Pixels are regarded as the better Android phones,
No.
actually. In the entire community.
Every person that I know that has bought a Pixel has regretted every fucking decision in their life.
I'm just saying, the Pixels across the board are regarded as some of the better Android phones. There are obviously better, because now you have the new players in the game, like the Nothing phone, which I guess the Nothing phone, for what it is really fucking great. You know, you have Samsung, who are always been top dog, but they're pieces of shit because they charge too much for their fucking phones. I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck.
It's about the same price as the iPhone.
No, I was literally just going down that road and saying, I don't give a fuck if you're Apple or Android. $1,000 for a fucking phone is too much goddamn money. They have brainwashed us into accepting it, but it's not fucking right. I don't care who you are. $1,000 for a fucking phone is too much goddamn money. I understand that we are in a perspective of these are mini computers. They're not just phones anymore. But I don't give a fuck. You want to know what I do on this thing 9 times out of 10? I watch YouTube and send text messages. I don't fucking care. It's not worth it. Oh, well, we have better cameras. Sure, but have you done the research on how many people actually use their cameras frequently enough to maximize that? Oh, well, we have 16 gigs of RAM. Nobody's using 16 gigs of RAM on a fucking phone. Nobody. I don't give a fuck who you are. Like,
no.
It's just, and that's why I say it's not feasible. And so that's, like I said, that makes me more angry at Apple, because we have, sure, a better chip inside, which is fine. Like, obviously, like I said, with the less RAM and the multitasking and everything, they've literally optimized it just to such a degree that if an Android phone with this came out tomorrow, it would be $200 and it would be on the fucking budget rack. Because nobody's buying an Android phone with 6 gigs of RAM. You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just
some of those lower end Android phones. There's a lot of broke people that are buying those.
But that's my point that I'm trying to say, though, is it's not a top-end phone, but it's just the optimization of it that made it that way. You know, because, like, if you look at the details of everything, what does Apple have over Android? I can name 3 things right off the bat. Their optimization, their OS, and their cameras. Their battery life, there are some Android phones out there it just doesn't keep up with. There are certain things about Android that are better than iPhone. The customization, the reliability of specific things that are in Android that are not on iOS, like having free, free APKs, which are, you can download folders and files that are not directed and approved by Apple, which are a huge thing, you know, and so that's what I'm saying. There are specifics in each category that gives benefits over the other. I never claim to be like, oh, this is what this is for that, because I would much rather have the new ROG Android phone that has 22 gigs if I'm a 13-year-old and I'm torrenting movies off the fucking internet onto my phone than an iPhone. But at the same degree, if I want a phone that's text messaging is more encrypted, that's more reliable on the operating system, that, you know, sure, the battery life isn't the best out of everything in the world, but at the same time, it'll get you through an entire day. And to top it off, everybody doesn't like to admit it, but Android batteries go bad so fast, and iPhones really don't. That is one thing that I hate to admit, because I was the type of person that had Android phones when they had swappable batteries, and I always had a fucking backup. Android batteries don't last for fucking I don't know why.
You know, I miss that. Being able to just take the battery out and put a new one in and it's fully charged.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. And, you know, like I said, they're... At the end of the day, I've always gone by what the base needs of what I want are. If there was ever an Android phone that was out there that wasn't a brand new startup company, like Nothing or whatever the fuck, because like we've said, You know, if Huawei was still in the United States, which they're not, fucking Chinese spies, I'd probably go back to Android because they beat everybody by a country fucking mile. They always have. They've always had the better phones, the better OS. Period. They were the best, and that's the reason why they're still regarded, even though they've been banned since like 2018. They've been banned for so fucking long now, and people still regard them as one of the better phone manufacturers, which is fucking crazy to me because they've been gone for so long. They've been gone for literally 6 years, and people still talk about them. So, with that being said, you know, when you're looking at the big players of Android, which are what? Samsung, Motorola, LG. I don't even know if LG even makes phones anymore. I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
I don't think they do.
I think ever since they released the Wing, they've been out. You know, and then Google, of course. But you know, you look at those players, and each one of them has a caveat, and that's the biggest thing. You know, it's like Samsung, you get the best, but they don't support the phones for long enough. It's like 2 years. You get Google, they have support for like 6 years, but they're still new and they're still buggy as fuck, and it's still dumb, but they're still regarded as the best Android cameras, period. And when their software works, because Google owns the Android operating system, it is the smoothest and most fluid when you get the Pro phones. You know, and then you go to someone like Motorola, which they're expanding into experimenting. They have the budget phones, and then they have the flips. And their flip phones are great, and people seem to love them, but it's also $1,500 fucking dollars, and you're getting mid-tier specs. Yeah. So each one of those comes with a caveat. And that's the shitty part about it, is that if you go from that, you're still getting a mixed bag. And this is why I say specifically what I said about Android. If they covered all the bases, you buy an iPhone, you know what the caveats are, because they've been the same fucking caveats for 20 goddamn years now, it seems like. And you still know what to expect. At the end of the day, that's really what it amounts to.
I do know what to expect. I said one fucking thing, and this motherfucker goes off on like a 20-minute tangent.
But the thing is, though, is I'm not arguing with you about you liking Android.
I know.
And either way, though, like, we have argued about it over text messages and called each other bitches.
But we have argued about it on this podcast.
but that's the thing, though. So arguing about it and having a discussion about it, I feel is important, because also to our viewers, for the one of you that is watching,
maybe we might be at step 0,
-3
square.
Yeah, they're taking viewers
home
away.
base.
Yeah, but no, I'm just saying, like, in relative terms, like, we've never talked about it, and we want to, like, explain this too, because even Caden is, you know, giving his 2 cents on it. We, as individuals, do this podcast because we both do have differentiating opinions. We agree on a lot. There's a lot of shit that we disagree on too. There's really a lot of things behind the scenes as friends that we're like, no, you're fucking stupid. Like,
a lot.
Really, you know, and so, but having a discussion about things and being able to find the common ground and agree with each other is the reason why we can come to you guys with opinions on monitors or GPUs or whatever the fuck, because it's not a matter of us spewing bullshit to you guys to be like Joe Rogan and be like, fuck you, you're wrong. It's about you guys going out there and making the financial decisions that you need to make. It's getting differentiating opinions of two people who have very different outlooks on things. It's about understanding what the pros and cons are about things, because we've said this before. If we could ever make a YouTube channel or whatever that was just our job, it would be phones, monitors, GPUs, like Overclock Life, which is probably dead now. But Overclock Life, yeah, you forgot about that, huh? I bet you haven't thought about that in months.
It's disappointing.
Yeah, Overclock Life was actually our baby, which is sad. Like, we love the podcast, don't get us wrong, but Overclock Life was actually our baby. But, you know, we would cover phones, monitors, tablets, cars. Like, we wanted to do so much with it, and on every one of those things, we both have differentiating opinions. We have different things to say, different opinions to bring you, you know, because we want to give the pros and cons of both. We don't want to just be like, oh, iPhone shit or Android shit. It's like, but why? Why is Android a difficult choice to make? Why is iPhone a difficult choice to make? And everything in between, from, like we talk about NVIDIA to AMD to motherboards, to manufacturers, to headphones, to audio equipment, which audio equipment to us is such a huge thing. Honestly, I think that's one of the things that drives us the most crazy because it's something we want to delve into, but it's so fucking expensive.
Yeah, it'd be a nice.
That would be something if we, like, I know if we could do audio equipment, we'd be so happy, but goddamn, we would need such a huge startup budget to even begin. Like, because I know we want to do the FIO K7 so bad, dude. Oh my god, we want to do the FIO K7 just so fucking disgustingly bad. I want to see that thing. I want to see what it sounds like. I want to see what it can do. Just, I want it so bad. I know you too.
Yep.
If someone fucking came up and handed it to you, you'd suck their dick. It's just how it is.
It's a good chance, man.
There's a good chance.
I'm not gay, but $20 is $20.
He's not gay, but a FIO K7 is fucking $900.
Right.
Yep, it is really true. It is really true. But that is what we've always tried to do on the podcast. Obviously, you know, we do love this. We really do. Like, it's a hobby, and we understand that. We're not getting paid for it. We've said this 1,000 times. And that's part of the reason why we needed to take such a long break, because we had life stuff that happened. We had family stuff that happened. We just had a lot of shit to go down. And then on top of that all, like I said, at the end of the day, we're working 9 to 5. We're got our jobs. We still got shit to do. And we fell behind financially, and it's just how it is.
We can't even call it a 9 to 5 anymore.
Yeah, we can't
it's
even
a
call
7
it.
to 7.
Yeah, it's just fucking me. It's 6 to 5, Monday through Thursday. You, it's fucking, you know, fucking any given fucking day of the month, because it depends on the month. And, you know, and on top of that, we weren't joking. We're still working on the podcast set, which is costing money. We're still working on trying to get everything set up so that way we can actually ramp up production, because it's not like we took these 5 months off and we haven't thought about this at all. We've actually had long discussions over texts, over the phone, in person, about what we want to do, where we want to be, how we want to produce things, how we want to move forward. Because the thing is at the end of the day, to you guys, to the 100 listeners that watched the couple episodes of the podcast that blew up, you know, we don't think that our production value is good enough. And that is something you have to understand from our perspective. We don't think it's good enough. And we never have.
Nope.
And, you know, me and Caden have discussed different audio interfaces to get so that way we can actually have things set up for more than 2 people. We want to have more guests on the show. We want to have more, you know, fields of view. We want to be able to see everybody individually and the table, and we want to be... There's just so many things in the work that's just going to take the time and the money to get it done, and then balancing everything from Christmas to Halloween to New Year's to Thanksgiving to just everything and overwhelming things that happen in our personal life. We didn't take this break because we wanted to. We took this break because we had to. And
yep, it's the unfortunate side effect of being an adult, living.
Yeah, and you know, he says unfortunate with all the genuine feeling that he could possibly do, because of the fact that this really does like work for us. We really do like sitting down in front of the camera and talking shit to y'all. You know, even seeing that one person was watching our podcast made us happy. Like, it's fucking stupid.
I mean, I'd much rather be sitting in front of you and talking shit to your face, but this is as close as I'm gonna get.
And to blow all of that up out of the water, you know, to think that the first podcast that we got 50 viewers, we were like, what the fuck is happening? And then we got 110 on the second to last episode that we ever uploaded, and we're just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, it is genuinely stunning to us that even a few people want to watch our dumbass podcast, let alone that many.
Right.
You know, and if there's guys out there, guys, gals, whoever, what the fuck, that are watching this episode and it gets 100 viewers, like, we're sorry for the late delay. We just can't comprehend 100 people in a room that want to see us. It's fucking strange. But we are glad that we entertain you guys enough to keep you guys coming back for more. We really do want to try to be better going forward. We want to try to do things, and like he said, Overclock Life, that's our baby, and that one makes us really fucking sad, but it doesn't mean that we're going to let it die if we can help it, because that one is A, easier to produce, B, much more fulfilling for both of us, and C, because it's easier to produce, we can get more episodes out more frequently, but it is a matter of us finding the time and the consolidation, because we don't just want to be like, hey, let's talk about this thing that we already own. We want to talk about something that may be new or exciting, or go over rumors, or go over reviews of things, because we've reviewed mice on the channel, keyboards, headphones, like that's what we've done, you know, and that's what we mean when we're talking about audio equipment and stuff, because we love that shit. We fucking love it, dude. You know, even Caden was swayed away because he bought one mouse and he thought it was going to be the only mouse for him, and now it's just the most garbage fucking mouse in his entire fucking life, and he's a Pulsar boy. Period. He fucking...
Yep. I love that mouse.
Dude, it's stupid how good of a mouse it is. It really is just... And to think it's just some Korea-based company that started 3 years ago, it's fucking crazy.
Right.
It's fucking insane, dude. You know, and that's the thing, though, is there's so many other mice out there that are coming out and good. Like, I know that we are not going to be able to, but we would love to get our hands on the Final Mouse Ultralight X. I know we would just fucking over the moon to get our hands on it. They're so difficult to get, but they are staying in production. They are not a limited group buy, so there's a good chance we may actually get our hands on one sooner rather than later. So that's a benefit. But when we try to come up with ideas for the podcast or for the channel, it does take money, because whether we like to admit it or not, in between both of our setups, there are thousands of dollars poured in to each one of our setups altogether, not counting the hundreds of dollars of spare peripherals that we have laying around. You know, it's just, there are things that you guys just can't possibly understand what we have in the background. There's going to be a storage room for us that I'm sure we're going to auction off someday, because I can tell you right now, there's probably enough parts that we have laying around for someone to have their dream build done today. And that's so
Pretty
fucked up
close.
to say. Yeah, that's so fucked up to say, but it's true. There's just spare headphones lying around, mice, audio equipment, there's fucking monitors and keyboards, mouse
that's why
pads.
I started giving a bunch of shit to my brother.
You know,
like,
it's just
I
there's
just get this out of my house.
There's so much shit.
Yep.
There really, really is. And so, yeah, you guys, as we move forward, we want to try to be interactive. We might, if at the end of this year we accomplish our goals, which yes, we do. We have a goal. And we kind of set it. And with the TNC podcast and Overclock Life, I mean, obviously you guys are what's keeping it alive. It's not necessarily because of anything else, but we both had an agreement the middle of last year that we have a goal that we're going to try to reach by the end of this year. And it is kind of a messed up goal. We're not trying to say it as a negative thing. We want to get to at least 1,000 viewers by the end of this year, which is a big X. It's a huge X. And if we get to 1,000 viewers by the end of this year, we're going to keep the Overclock podcast or the Overclock Life and the podcast alive. If we do not reach the 1,000 viewers that we are thinking that we want to do, it may not be worth our time to pursue these endeavors anymore. Or if we get 1,000 viewers on just Overclocking the podcast may go away. It really depends on what we kind of want to try to accomplish over the year. But the thing is that as we said, with Overclock Life, sure, it might help us to boost viewers because it's easier to produce and it's easier to get episodes out. We don't need to record for an hour and a half and then go into editing and fix all the bullshit that's in our podcast, which takes hours, I may add. Hours. Literally, I sent him home with a podcast, like maybe twice, and it took him 2 days to get it done. He was off those days. It's fucking stupid. It is really ridiculous to understand the amount of work that goes into getting it done. It's not just sit down, hit record, that's it. Every once in a while we'll do it, but those are usually not the freeform ones like today. It's usually the ones that are organized where we know what we're going to talk about, we know the time limit, and those take hours of preparation.
Hours of preparation and post editing, and because unfortunately we can't pay someone else to do it.
Yeah, we can't pay someone else to do it, and even if we could, it's to the point where if we were doing it and having someone edit it, we would be in a position where we would be uploading frequently, which is the truth. And it's just sad and it's fucked up because you guys mean a lot to us. We have been thinking about this nonstop, but that is our goal for the year. I am assuming by March, the TNC Historical Podcast will be back up and running full time. We need some time to figure things out between his life and mine. And that's fair. You know, obviously we're not abandoning you guys. That's why we gave you the heads up months in advance that things were going to slow down. We wanted you guys to understand that. That's why in August we were like, hey, guys, look, you know, we're going to be honest with you. This is how it's going to be. Because we didn't want to just leave you guys on a cliff note and come back and be like Colleen Ballinger and sing a song on a ukulele, because that was trash. But realistically, March we're going to hit it. We're going to give everything that we have. Overclock Life, I'm sure, will have its own little... We'll figure out an upload schedule, because we do want to do once or twice a week. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean that we recorded it all, because recording is weird. We can do it all in a day, and then just schedule the uploads whenever we want to. But I'm expecting that that's what we want to do, is we want to be able to have the podcast come back, be in full swing, and give this an honest-to-God try for the rest of the year. And whatever happens in December will decide the fate of the channels. Now, if the podcast dies, that's great. We're still going to talk shit on Overclock Life. And honestly, to be completely honest with you, Caden has never said this on any record. But he said this to, you know, we have talked about this because we are friends. We actually do hang out with each other. Recording the podcast is exhausting.
It is socially exhausting. Outside of this podcast, I don't talk as much as I do on here. It's socially exhausting, mentally exhausting. And you know, dealing with this fucker is mentally exhausting.
Dealing with yourself.
Right, but we have beat that horse dead and well. I think that's a good stopping point for us.
Yeah, if you want to call it there. I mean, we are at 1.5. And yeah, I agree with him. We've beaten the horse. And everything else said, that's the plan moving forward, guys. Just be aware of that. So, if there's an episode here or there in between now and March, great. This one will be up. I mean, you'll see it when you see it. There's not going to be an announcement. We're not going to post on socials. You know, so I can't say when, because you guys won't see this episode. And so, hey, this will be up. It'll be on YouTube. Whatever. So it's pointless. Fucked up and pointless.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's the plan going forward. We're going to be cranking everything up, and you'll start seeing episodes again starting in the beginning of March, which will be great because as socially exhausting as this is, it is fun at the end of the day. If it wasn't fun, we wouldn't fucking do it.
Yes, and I still do enjoy this.
It's just a lot because we usually get in 2 or 3 podcast episodes all the time when we record. You guys don't see it, but we work maybe once or twice a month. But we get enough episodes for Overclock Life and the podcast out in those once or twice a month. And that's why we're so drained, because it is literally, I think one day was 16 hours. That was your bill.
Felt like it. It fucking felt like it. Holy fucking shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Normally these days go on for, I'd say, 8 or 10 hours on average.
Because depending on the situation of what we happen on this, we might go record Overclock Life. We do have a mouse review to do that I forgot about. And we also have a dongle review that I forgot to talk about. Because you haven't even tried the X2 V2 fully yet.
That's right.
So you guys might get an Overclock Life as well. But realistically, guys, like Caden said, thank you guys for sticking with us, for the 2 of you that have. If all 100 of you have come back, what is wrong with you? But as always, guys, thank you. Really, from the bottom of our hearts. We do appreciate it. And the outro from Caden.
Fuck you.